Must and can't. Must for subjective obligation. We often use must to say that something is essential or necessary. For example, I must go. Structure of must. Must is a modal auxiliary verb. It is followed by a main verb. The basic structure for must is subject plus auxiliary verb must plus main verb base. The main verb is always the same form, base. Look at these examples. I must go home. You must visit us. We must stop now. Like all auxiliary verbs, must cannot be followed by to. So we say, I must go now, not I must to go now. Use of must. In general, must expresses personal obligation. Must expresses what the speaker thinks is necessary. Must is subjective. Look at these examples. I must stop smoking. You must visit us soon. He must work harder. In each of the above cases, the obligation is the opinion or idea of the person speaking. In fact, it's not a real obligation. It's not imposed from outside. It is sometimes possible to use must for real obligation. For example, a rule or a law. But generally we use have to for this. We can use must to talk about the present or the future. Get these examples. I must go now. Present. I must call my mother tomorrow. Future. We cannot use must to talk about the past. We use have to talk about the past. Must is most commonly used to express certainty. It can also be used to express necessity or strong recommendation, although native speakers prefer the more flexible form have to. Must not can be used to prohibit actions, but this sounds very severe. Speakers prefer to use softer modal verbs such as should not or ought not to dissuade rather than prohibit. Examples. This must be the right address. Certainty. Students must pass the entrance examination to study at this school. Necessity. You must take some medicine for that cough. Strong recommendation. Jenny, you must not play in the street. Prohibition. Using must in present, past and future. Most modal verbs behave quite irregularly in the past and the future. Study the chart below to learn how must behaves in different contexts. Positive form. Present, past, future. Must. Certainty. That must be Jerry. They said he was tall with bright red hair. 2. That must have been the right restaurant. There are no other restaurant on the street. 3. No future form. Negative forms. Present, past and future. 1. That must not be Jerry. He is supposed to have red hair. 2. That must not have been the right restaurant. I guess there is another one around here somewhere. 3. No future form. You can also use have to. Must not. Prohibition. Negative forms. You must not swim in that river. It's full of crocodiles. You must not forget to take your malaria medication while you are in the tropics. Prohibition usually refer to the near future. Must strong recommendation. American prefers the form should. Positive forms. You must take some time off and get some rest. 2. Shift to should. You should have taken some time off last week to get some rest. 3. Shift to should. You should take some time off next week to get some rest. Negative forms. You mustn't drink so much. It's not good for your health. 2. Shift to should. You shouldn't have drunk so much. That caused the accident. 3. Shift to should. You shouldn't drink at the party. Must, necessity. Americans prefer the form have to. Positive forms. 1. You must have a permit to enter the national park. 2. Shift to have to. We had to have a permit to enter the park. 3. We must get a permit to enter the park next week. Negative forms. Shift to have to. We don't have to get a permit to enter the national park. 2. Shift to have to. We didn't have to get a permit to enter the national park. 3. Shift to have to. We won't have to get a permit to enter the national park. Remember, must not versus do not have to. Must not suggests that you are prohibited from doing something. Do not have to suggests that someone is not required to do something. Examples. You must not eat that. It's forbidden. It's not allowed. You don't have to eat that. You can if you want to, but it's not necessary. Must. To express obligation or duty. This also refers to law or regulations. I must memorize all of these rules about modal verbs. People must remain seated until the show is over. You must wear a seatbelt at all times. To emphasize the necessity of something. Humans must have drinking water at least every 2 days. You must give up smoking. It's bad for you. We must have a special permit to camp in the national park. You must study the last 2 chapters before the test. Plants must have light and water to grow. You must drive carefully. Deduction. Sure that something is true. Certainty. We use this when we don't know, but we are certain that it's true, based on evidence. Look at all of that snow. It must be really cold outside. The ground was wet this morning. It must have rained last night. Dinosaurs were very big. They must have eaten a lot. It's 5 in the morning and you still haven't gone to bed. You must be tired. Jack must be home. I heard a noise coming from his room. Expresses positive logical assumption. Must plus have plus past participle. That must have been my mother calling me last night. Nobody else has my number. He must have won the lottery with the new house and car he has just bought. She must have been at home. Her car was there. A strong recommendation. Something that is highly recommended, stronger than using should. We really must get together for dinner sometime. You must see the new Peter Jackson movie. It's fantastic. The ice cream here is delicious. You must try some. Can't. Sometimes we use can to show amazement. 1. If something can happen, it's not possible in fact. It's so small that it can't be seen. There can't be any difference. Can the plan work? They can't be right. Imagine how bad it can get. 2. If someone tells you that something can't happen, they think it's not a good idea. You just can't keep smoking. You can't think things are going to get better. 3. Can't plus perfect infinitive. We use can't plus perfect infinitive when we feel sure something didn't happen in the past or we show our amazement. I thought I saw John in town this morning, but it can't have been him. He is in Greece this week. I can't have left it in the supermarket. I had it on the bus, on the way home. You can't have read the instruction properly. They are not perfectly clear. Now let's get down to practice. You must try to remember things without writing them down. We must get to the airport by 7 o'clock. I must remember to ring him tomorrow. He must have been driving far too fast. The thief didn't have the money on him when he was arrested. He must have got rid of it. You must keep it as a secret. I haven't phoned Jim for ages. I must phone him as soon as possible. It's later than I thought. I must go now. I'm afraid I can't come tomorrow. I must work late. We don't have plenty of time. You must hurry. This is a valuable book. You must look after it carefully. There is an exam at 7 o'clock tomorrow. You must get up early. I didn't say anything like that. There must be a misunderstanding. It must be difficult to stop smoking. I have lost one of my gloves. I must have dropped it somewhere. I didn't hear the phone. I must have been asleep. I can't believe you thought I was going to marry her. I can't promise we will never fight, or that I will never take a drink. You can't imagine how I have missed the country. You can't imagine how sore I am. Oh, she can't be that bad. She can't make up her mind whether you are having an affair with me or hiding something. Now let's have some trial test. You have to choose right answer. I haven't seen the people next door for ages. They go away. A. Can go away. B. Must go away. C. Must have gone away. D. Can't go away. E. Couldn't go away.